What's up, guys? Simon from Beyond Creation. You're now watching Impact Channel. Cheers.
Greetings everyone, we are here with Simon from Beyond Creation. Right, welcome to Hungary.
Thank you.
How was the show for you?
It was very awesome. Second time for us in Budapest, and it was. We really loved the energy, the vibe. People really get into our music. So
Right. How is the tour in general with Dying Fetus?
it's pretty cool. Actually, it's been about 2 weeks now, and we still have 3 weeks of shows to do. So as far as it goes, it's really good. We've been more north up and a little bit we got down, and but yeah, all the shows are pretty cool. People still, there's some place that we haven't played yet, especially in the North Territories. So it was pretty cool to have a new place to play and new people to met and new fans to. Yeah.
And where have you gained your strongest fan base in the world?
I guess of course Montreal is our hometown. A lot of friends are there. People like us, or in Paris or France in general. People really get into our music. But we really have a good vibe almost everywhere. But yeah, it's just, I think maybe it's a French thing. I don't know.
What makes you feel like when you listen or play your own music?
Well, of course, we put all our heart in our music, and everything we have all the feelings and stuff like this. So of course, it's cool to each day play the songs and really get into it for ourselves, and have the energy from everyone that comes to the show. So it's a good feeling. Nowadays, I don't much listen to our album because we play it every day. It's more, but still, we love it, right?
That's the point.
Yeah.
And do you intend to create the same feelings in your fans?
Well, everyone I think can relate to the music, the way they feel from different perspectives. So I don't know, the music we create, maybe our feelings that we put in will not be the same. People can absorb, people. I think we all, even all of us, when we listen to music, we create our own kind of atmosphere with it. So yeah, the most important in music is the feels, and that's why we want to do it. And that's, yeah.
And if you close your eyes and you imagine a kind of a movie, an art exhibition, or any kind of artwork, what crosses your mind when you listen to your own music?
I don't know, it's hard to describe because there's a lot of different, it's very varied, the music itself, the lyrics points are really there's many different themes, so it's hard to describe. I think both of the album we choose is when we took the artist to create our own design. I think it really fit with the music, with the lyrical theme, and the ambience, the atmospheres. So yeah, I think it matched pretty well already.
Do you have a funny true story to share with us?
Funny story. Bosnia. It was a crazy trip. It was this summer actually when we toured as headliner in Europe. We got to the border because like it's kind of tricky to cross the border as a musician, and we had all the papers done, all the paperwork ready, and when we had to cross, like the vehicle wasn't insured, so we couldn't cross. So like the promoter just got to us like 3 hours drive back and forth to get us. Then after the next day, we had to drive through Hungary, and just before we start, like it was maybe like 8 in the evening. Just before we start, we go to a restaurant, we start eating, and we see some flashes. We just turned out it was like this huge storm. Like I never seen something like this. It was crazy. Like, and we had an RV, and the trap just blown away. Like, so it was dripping all in the fucking RV. So like we had to tape with fucking plastic bags and shit like this. It was quite funny. It was stressing, but like when you look back at it, it's quite funny. We don't miss any action when we're on tour.
Your last album, Earthborn Evolution, came out in 2014. Are you working on the next material at the moment?
Yes, we are. We plan actually to record in February. So like by the time with the promotion and to make everything is ready for the G date. So like maybe in fall next year. I don't know, like October, November, something like this. We would be able to release the new album.
Which studio did you pick for the recording session? Was there the producer?
Yeah, it's well exactly the same as our first two albums. So we really like how we work together with Christian Donaldson from Cryptopsy. You have a really good studio. He's a really good sound engineer, and like it goes fast but like really precise with him. And yeah, he's really looking forward to, because as anything, as the music and as the sound engineer, we want to like evolve with the music, with the instruments and stuff like this. So like we're really looking forward to try new thing in the studios and like have a new sound, kind of like, of course, in the same vein of Earthborn Evolution, but like production-wise, getting always better, and like, yeah, so.
How would you describe the new album music-wise?
Well, there's some surprise in it, of course, like new dimensions. It keeps, as I said, in the same vein of Earthborn Evolution. So like you got like those trippy atmospheres and like tapping and stuff like this. But the most important is variety. So like yeah, like you have long songs that are really progressive. You have small ones that are really aggressive, for example, and like yeah, clean parts, solos, bass solos, guitar, drum, and so like and yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's gonna be a good one, and we're really looking for it.
Is there any musician or artist who would you like to work with?
Well, there's a lot of musicians, of course, like you know, like some of our favorite metal band, or like some of my friends in Exvius. They're like really good jazz metal players, played in Cynic. So like, of course, that would be cool to work with them, like do guest solos and stuff. But it's always something that you need to like manage in advance. And but yeah, like for artwork, we try to change like the way we had already worked in the past. So like create a new atmosphere, new visual faces of the band. So like we'll see.
What does art mean to you?
Expression, feels. I think it's just like, yeah, it's putting your own feeling to materials or like something you can relate to. So like, even if music is just air, it's not like you get the CDs, right? But you can listening. It's yeah, it's just like something you can have a feeling through it and see maybe like as perspective your own like lives or
Your lyrics are kind of spiritual and deep as well. How would you describe or summarize your own philosophy?
well, there's a lot of different theme in the lyric, and most of the time is the way I see things, the way I experiment life in general, and we're all pretty like close to nature. I'm also a photographer, so like nature always been for me something very important. So like we try to put these all together and like say like a wake up call, like yes, there's problems, the way we act each other, like there's some bad, there's some good, like some things that we can change for the good, and like yeah, like politics, of course, there's like many different things like religion and stuff like that, of course. Like I think putting this in a philosophical way is getting everyone his own perspective when they listen or they read the lyrics, but still like the message is always there's something wrong and the most important is to solve it, right? So like we can talk about like the problems, but most important is to see beyond this, see how we can manage to like get everyone the same good vibes and positive. And so.
What would you change in mankind if you had the power to do?
Well, of course, like money rules the world, and unfortunately, like there's something that people tend to like, like all the nature. When we talk about like electric cars, then it's been there for many years, and still not like a lot of them out there available, because like there's petrol, there's gas, there's all that money that the government need to want to get, and like so it's all those little problems. Well, not this one is a little, but like it's all like those problems that we have the technology to get rid of those problems and like find a way to like evolve in the good way, but the money is always the aspect that maybe puts some boundaries to those.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And what do you think? Are the Canadians more conscious than the average about environment or even politics?
I don't think so. Like in Europe in general, it's pretty like there's a lot of places like Sweden, Swiss. There's a lot of places that do really good care of the environment, that like add some protection like for the environment. And like in Canada in general, of course, like we all manage each house to like separate the trash and like do organics and do like all the plastic together so they can recycle and stuff like this. So like I think it's important to keep doing this, and like even because we all see there's been some like things inconsistency. For example, like you just put like a full bag of plastic and instead of recycling it, they put it in the trash or like whatever. So like even if you see this, you need to continue as an individual, like to do those little moves. So like eventually people really understand like how it can be effective to take care of it.
Gojira participated in a project for Sea Shepherd. Have you heard about it?
Nope.
Basically, they are about the consciousness of the sea life, you know. So they try to save whales, dolphins, and other endangered species. Would you like to do any kind of project like that, you know, together with eco-conscious artists?
Yeah, well, of course, it would be really good to make one. Of course, we have a lot to do with the bands, and like we try to communicate like the message. We're really like tanned about, and yeah, I think we all try to manage the way we can. Like yeah, of course, if I couldn't manage to do this and have the time, of course, that would be a great thing.
I've never been to Canada, unfortunately, but I heard you got many beautiful places all
Yeah.
around the country. Where do you like to go to recharge your batteries or just to relax?
One of my favorite places is the Rockies in Canada. So it's like we're in Montreal, and it's the total opposite way of Canada, you know. But still, it's like really, you look at it and it seems unreal. Like it's all mountains with like snow, and like you see the crystal beam, like the lights and stuff like this. It's really, and as a photographer, like the blue water, like really calm and all that nature. So like, of course, to me, it really gets me good. But like, yeah, there's a lot of really nice places also in the U.S. Like the desert place. There's so much nice things to see in the world. Europe, yeah, that's it. We really like to travel and see how people, the cultures, how people act each other's, and like, yeah, that's it.
You mentioned Bosnia, and I was there a few years ago. I think it was a really amazing country,
It was,
nature-wise.
yeah. Well, it was this summer, the Bosnia. Unfortunately, we didn't have the time to visit a lot because of the border process, right? So we just managed to get there on time, build the setup, play, and then we had to get back. So like we didn't see much of Bosnia, but like I know a lot of people are going there to visit and see like natures and waterfalls and stuff like this. So,
Where do you go for inspiration nowadays?
well, mostly like I live out of the city, so a place which is really calm, water in front, like feel the back. So like it's much when I compose even music or lyrics, I need calm space. I need to like focus on things. So like yeah, I think I'm the perfect place, and of course like everything that really touched me, if I see a movie or like listen to some music or that really like gets a message that really I care about, and I see like it's something that I would love to talk about, like so there's many different ways to get those inspiration.
And what or who inspired you when you started the band back in the day?
As a band, like of course, Necrophages was like the summit, like one of my favorite metal band. But I've always been listening to a lot of different music. I think like old rock and roll. Pink Floyd is probably my favorite of all time band. They really like did the revolution of like the rock music, the sound itself, like all the rock back in the days, rock, prog music. I studied classical music, so the way you can arrange the music with yeah, so
Who are your favorite composers? You just mentioned classical music.
favorite composer. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I think Pink Floyd, like David Gilmour, and that would be it. I think. Yeah.
Have you seen Roger Waters?
I haven't. Unfortunately, I haven't. I have all the DVDs, Roger Water, and also David Gilmour, and I've seen many concert from like tribute, very good tribute that goes through Montreal and even in Australia. But unfortunately, I never had the chance to see the real musicians live. Yeah.
And would you like to do maybe or release a remix album or maybe an orchestrated version for the previous songs?
Yeah, that would be sick. I'm doing now orchestra building, so like with brass, violin, and like I play piano and timbales and percussion and stuff like this. So like, of course, I like, for example, Septic Flesh, which they're really good in what they do, and adding like the orchestral atmospheres to the songs, like yeah, mixing the metal with classical music. So like I know they released an album like just the orchestral, and so like yeah, of course that would be cool eventually to make something like this, or just try with one song and see how yeah.
Have you heard the new album of Septic Flesh?
Yes, I did.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Could you please tell us about the gear you use?
So like actually since 2015, mostly we use in-ears monitors with wireless, and like we all play, Kevin, I, and Hugo, we play in Axifix. So like it's all direct to the PA. We don't have any cab. It's a guitar processor. I don't know if you ever.
More or less.
Yeah. So like it's a guitar processor which you can choose your sound and create it, and like add some effects and like reverbs and stuff like this. The Axifix is really like a musician. It's made for musicians that do tours, and all the effects are very good, and it's been like since the second version of the Axifix. That's what we got in the XL Plus. They've been recorded sounds of real amps. You can profile sounds. So like because when we go through studio, we mix mostly Axifix with the real amp. So I got like a Powerball first edition, and Kevin has EVH. So like we managed to reamp with it, and like if we want to, we can profile the sounds of the studio, and then like when we play live, it's always, or at least sounds like the studio, right? So yeah, we use these, and yeah, as guitar we have Strandberg headless guitars made in Sweden, and Hugo play with Kiesel, which is also headless, fretless bass, so like headless geek. Yeah.
And what kind of pickups do you use?
We have the Seymour Duncan, so like it's all passive pickup. At the bridge we have the Pegasus, which I love their pickups because they have a lot of output, like not as much as active pickups, of course, but like still more than the average. So like a lot of output, but still a lot of dynamics in the sound. Still, since it's passive. So like when you play solos are like acoustic or clean parts, or just the way you pick, it will like sound different. You know, so like yeah. So at the bridge we have Pegasus and Sentient at the neck pickup.
How about Nazgul?
I didn't. I tried it, but it's not my type of sounds. Like I don't know. To me, I think it sounds a little bit too harsh for the kind of sound that we want. We want it smooth and like yeah. So
And what about the strings?
we use Elixir. That lasts very long.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very like crispy sounds, and because of the coating, and yeah, very good strings.
And the gauge?
Gauge, I use like for the first six, 946, then 68 for the 7, and 84 for the 8 string.
And what are your plans with the band after the tour?
We're going to record in February. So like, yeah, the plan is to get everything done before the studio. We still have some details to mix up and like rearrange. So like, get this done by February and then enter the studio. We also have the 70,000 tons of metal that's coming up in February. So like, just before we hit the studio, we're going to do the 70,000 tons of metal, so it will be quite a sick experience. Yeah.
Have you been there before?
Nope. Will be the first time, so really looking to it.
I'm jealous. Last few questions. Please name your 5 favorite albums of all time.
Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd. I would say Liminal from Exvius, Epitaph from Necrophagus, and let's see, like Snarky Puppy from, they have many albums, but Like It Here is the name of the album.
What's the meaning of life?
Have fun, being good as much as we can, and try to do good. I guess that's the only thing that matters.
Any last words to your fans?
Well, thank you so much for listening to us. We really appreciate your support, and we hope to see you again in the near future. So,
Thank you for the show and for the interview too.
thank you, man. It's appreciated.
Appreciate it too.